You know, when I was a young fellow, probably your age, or maybe a year or
I'm
two
6.
younger, maybe a year or two younger, I knew my great-great-grandmother, Edna. Do people nowadays know their great-great-grandmothers?
Mm-mm.
It's your mother's mother? She was a very mysterious lady, and that's why I liked her. Very mysterious. And she had this cool old house, and every time I was invited over there, she did card readings for people, she made potions for people, neighbors would come in, do this very mysterious lady. But she had a room in the house that was always locked. And of course, as a young kid, it made me very suspicious. I wanted to see inside that room. It was always locked, and every time I talked to her about the room, she changed the subject. Well, as great-great-grandparents do, she finally passed away. And the family had to come in and clean the house out to sell it. But before they did, a special club had to come in and retrieve some items that were on loan to my great-great-grandmother Edna. So when I finally got in the house and got to walk around, everybody's cleaning, they let me go into that locked room. It was unlocked. It was empty. They said most of the stuff in there belonged to that club that I really never heard the name of. But I did find a few items on the floor, and I brought them with me tonight. Would you like to see what I found?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Roll up in the corner, I found this old diploma. It's from a place called Hogwarts. Now, I don't know what Hogwarts is. I'm told it's some school somewhere in England, and I didn't know my great-great-grandmother had any education at all. But obviously, she was a graduate of Hogwarts. Very interesting. And I also found a pretty plume like this, as well as a case that it was rolled up in this case. And I'm told that my great-great-grandmother back in the Victorian era used to wear big hats, and they'd wear plumes in those hats like this. A lot of the ladies did that. In fact, the bigger the hat you had and the bigger the plume you had, the higher you were on the social status. If you had a big ostrich plume, you were even pretty high in social. I'm guessing my great-great-grandmother wasn't too high in the social standing. But I've been playing around with this as I got older, and I think I figured out some of the mysteries that my great-great-grandmother had. For example, if you were a lady back in that day and you had this hat, it's very expensive. So if you walked around all day and you did your errands and you had an event to go at night, you can't be seen in that same hat. You can't be seen in the same dress, right? How in the world can she do it? Well, I figured out that my great-great-grandmother was able to stick her plume inside this special case and turn it into a blue plume, wear that blue plume to the event, and then the next day she would come out and pull out her thing again.
Mm-hmm.
And so she had two hats. You want to see that again, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she would stick this inside this magic thing, oops, all the way in, change it to a blue plume, and the next day, pull it out again. Ah, let's see the blue plume like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Inside, she would change it to a blue plume, and there we go. Take a second hat, and she would fool everybody. So now you think that inside you have another plume, and you'd be right. But it's the only thing.
Oh.
So my great-grandmother was able to switch her hats 3 times.
Oh.
Just doing this magic thing.